God is always a big player in the affair of humans. And that should never be neglected. God is a big player in the affairs of man. And it should never be neglected. So anyone who is trying to neglect the role of God in whatever he is expecting to achieve is playing a chance game, because he will certainly fail. Because God said in the book of John chapter 15, he said, without me, you can do nothing. Praise the Lord. You must intentionally learn to bring God in the picture and get him committed, or else your dream will end as a mere wish. And this is one of the problems that so many of us have. We have found it difficult to bring God to be a big player in what we are doing. And so long as God is not involved, it's just about you and your energy. You feel but you can achieve these things. You wake up early, you sleep late, you struggle. You are just wasting your time. If you want your expectation to be delivered, you must get God involved intentionally. You see, over the years, experience have taught me, and so many other believers, that God is a businessman. I always say it, that God is a businessman. You know, Jesus, when he missed his parents, they said, we've been looking for you. He said, would I not be about my father's business? Listen. Every one of you, hear me very well. God is a businessman. I keep saying that God is a businessman. God is a businessman. And if you don't relate with him when it comes to, in terms of delivering your expectation, in the platform of dealing with God as a businessman, you will goof. You will make mistake. God is a businessman. Let me give you a typical example. There has not been any man that walked with God that God didn't say, if you do this, I will do this. That is the terms of business. For you to be a man of agreement and covenant, you must be a business person. Relationship that is defined on agreement is a relationship that can go far. So if you walk with God, you actually want God to deliver a thing, and you don't have the mindset of a businessman, forget about it. To fail. God does not interfere in anything you did not drag him into it. Satan will always jump into everything because he knows his mission is to scatter it. But God never step into any business he is not dragged into. When you drag God into it, that business is secured. Have that mentality. If you don't have that mentality, you can't work with God. You see him as God. He created the whole world. He gives everybody. He's a Father Christmas. Whatever you want. God, in fact, God is looking for somebody to give. Now lie. God is not looking for somebody to bless. God is not looking for somebody to bless. If you are not blessed, it does not change God. If you are blessed, it does not change God. But if you are blessed, the glory that comes from it is what God. Because in everything you do with God, listen, I want to break it down so that I don't wait too long. In everything you do with God, God wants to know what is his, how can I put it? What is his interest? Thank you. What is his interest? God wants to know his interest. If God's interest is not in it, forget about it. Nothing happens until you bring God's interest into it. And this is where so many Christians, that's why a lot of Christians that have no understanding about this, they struggle in life. Things that ordinarily you should get cheaply, you will not get it. Do you know why? Because what is the interest of God? Okay, you stand there, you say, God, I need a car. What is the interest of God in that car? Just to carry your family and come to church. You go trek tire. I learned this very early. I will always tell God, before I got the first car, I beg God, I said, God, give me the car. I will use it for church work. And the car came in less than 3 months. But there are people, they come with their car, they ask God, give us the car. God give you the car. Immediately church dismiss. You put your face like this, like a taxi driver. You don't even bother to carry anybody. Woo, you carry your children. As you drive that car, God will just mark you. Say, come buy another one. There are people like that in church. Nobody dare enter their motto. Their motto is Temple of Azarus. Bring your motto. Let us use it for church work. You say, no. My motto is, my motto, they go far distance. But whenever you want to use your own, it will go far distance. God is watching. You go ride that motto tire. Bring out your motto. Let us use it and go for evangelism. He said, in fact, he gave brake failure. But when he carry you, get brake failure. You go ride that motto tire. Because God is interested. He wants to know his interests in that thing you are asking God. Listen to me, child of God. If you forget everything, because all these things I'm speaking, they are big grammars. If you forget everything, in that thing you are asking God, what is God's interest? God, I want to marry. What is God's interest in that marriage? God, give me money so that I will show to them that I'm serving a living God. God knows he's a living God. He knew you don't need your validation. God doesn't need your validation to know that he's a living. He already knew he's a living God. God, you see how they are insulting me. They have insulted us. They say, can anything good come out of our family? They say, our family is the poorest of the poorest. Oh God, here they threaten. Oh God, God, give me money. I will build a house in this town so that they will know that there is somebody in this community that is serving the living God. You want to show? No lie. God, he will not listen to you. But God, give me this money so that I'll build this house and I will turn your house into house fellowship. God said, now you are talking. A lot of us don't understand. Until God is a beneficiary of what you are asking for, that thing will linger. What I'm giving you is verbatim wisdom set, express. If God is not a beneficiary of what you are looking for, it will linger. You go pray. So tell your news will turn to the news of John Knox. And yet, you will not receive answer. Why? Because God is not in the picture. There are some of us, immediately one little money come into our hand. We hold it for our family. You don't remember God at all. God will say, come get another one now. I want you to wise up. Many of us are responsible. Out of this ignorance, we are holding ourselves down. God don't engage himself in any business that he will not get into. Look at it. John chapter 3 verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish. What do you think God is doing? God gave his only begotten Son because he wants to gain the whole world. That's the reason. When he gave the only begotten Son, because he wants to gain the whole world. And today, you know the billions that are serving God because of one man that he gave. He was willing when Jesus was saying, my father, why have thou forsaken me here? God closed his eyes. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. God would have said, no, Che, don't die. Or I come back. God would have ended with one son. Today, God has sons all over the world. God is a businessman. Tell your neighbor, God is a businessman. You see, something happened. Before God began to bless Abraham, he told him, he said, listen, Abraham, leave your father's country. Leave your father's country and come to the land I will show you. right there, through you, the whole world, nations of the world will worship me. Abraham started the journey and ended at Haran in Genesis chapter 11. God kept quiet. Until when Abraham came to his senses, then he moved to Canaan and started to build a family unto God. That was when the blessing of God began to speak in his life. You must learn to get God committed. When Hannah saw that she had been begging for God to give her baby Samuel, she asked for it. She had been going to Shiloh every year. That was not a year. She had been going to Shiloh for years. So she was a strong believer and a strong worshiper. Being a worshiper now has nothing to do with this one. You can be holy, you can be righteous. All your holiness and your righteousness, if you don't commit God in what you are looking for, you will just remain holy and go to heaven. Until one day, she came to the church. She heard a prophecy from the prophet that Hophni and Phinehas, God said, what I will do, the ear that will hear it will tingle. Two of you will not go die. And then she looked again. Because as a worshiper, she knew what was happening. The story of the death of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, has been there, ringing. Everybody knew about it. So it was a popular news. Then she looked at Eli. Eli was an old man, 84 years. He said, now, very soon, Eli will die. And these two boys will die. Who will take over? Nobody. She now came. When she came to Shiloh, her roommate or her husband, rivalry or whatever, what is her name again? Penina. Say, woman, you don't reach, we don't come. That woman was a demon agent provoking her. But sometimes demons help us to remember our life, because there are a certain stage. See, when all things are too rosy for you, there are some dangerous things you will not engage yourself. When she finished crying, she wiped her tears and came to the altar and said, God, let's go into negotiation. God said, what is it? He said, you can see that Eli will soon die. Hophni and Phinehas will soon die. You know, say, when they die now, nobody to replace them. Okay, if you give me a son, a male child, I will give him to you to replace Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas. If you do that, I will return him back. God said, now you are talking. The Bible says, and immediately she went home, she conceived. It wasn't a prayer of Eli that made Samuel to come. It was her committing God into that business. Learn to commit God. And immediately then the Bible says, immediately she had that, she came and prophesied and said, the barren had born 7. Why did she do that? Because she have now learned how to commit God. She have learned the secret. So as soon as she conceived, when she went home, she probably told God and said, God, if you give me sons and daughters too, this time around, I have already given you that one to live in the temple. These ones will live in my house, but they will worship you. God said, now you are talking. God now pour out children unto her. Nobody knows the children of Penina. We don't know the number they are, but that of Hannah, the Bible said that God gave her later 5 children. And I don't know how many. Learn to commit God. You want admission. What is God's interest in that admission? God, as you make me, I get admission to the university, I am going to evangelize. God, if you make me to get job into that company, I will showcase you in that company. God, if you give me this money, oh my God, the widows in my community, they will know no poverty. God, if you open this door I am looking for, I am telling you, Father, I'm going to sponsor some people in school. God, if you give me this vehicle that I'm asking you, Father, I am going to use it. Whenever the church is going for evangelism, I will put it for evangelism. You will see God in action. God, if you allow me, if you give me husband, I am going to glorify you in that marriage. I will use my marriage to be a counseling point for other people. Then God will know that you are a serious person. I have told us severally that God is never emotional. God, do you see what they are doing to me? God, do you see? God, do you see? Oh, God, I know you will not allow your pikin to be disgraced. God is not emotional. God does not see your tears. Forget about all those things we used to say. Oh, tears, God, let my tears come to you. God does not see tears. No, you be the first person to cry. People don't cry past you before. You get people who don't cry, their own they full cup. Your own never go far. So, get God committed. In anything you want God to deliver for you in this year, get God committed. If you can break forth, bam! Solomon came and said, God, these your people are too great. I don't have wisdom to control them. God, I'm asking you for wisdom. Just give me wisdom to lead your people. God said, yeah. Wisdom to lead my people. Yeah. I have given it to you. I will also give you something you have not asked. I will give you wealth too and honor. He didn't go. God, look at what God said. He didn't ask for the life of his enemies. Neither did he ask for riches and this. That's what God said. God said he was asking for wisdom to lead my people. Learn to commit God. Major ways to get God committed. How to bring God into what you are looking for. Number one, through seed faith. Somebody say seed faith. Say it again, seed faith. I would like you to look at the book. I think it's written by, is it Robert? Yes, Seed Faith. Go and look for that book. I have it. It's in my library. A small book. Seed Faith. Read that book. It's very small, but that book is loaded. That book turned my life around when it comes to area of seed faith. What is seed faith? Seed faith is not an ordinary or regular seed we sow for harvest, but it's a seed we must sow to equalize our faith in order to hasten an expectation. It is a seed to in-depth God. It's a seed you can put, when you put it, God now is owing you. That is what he calls seed faith. Seed faith. It's a seed to commit him to do our bidding. There is a scenario that played out in the book of 2 Kings chapter 3, 26 to 27. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took him 700 men and drew sword to break through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead and offer him for a burnt offering upon the walls. Look at what happened after. And there was great indignation against Israel. And they departed from him and returned to their own land. Look up. The king of Moab, something happened. And what was that? There was a battle between the king of Israel and the king of Edom. And they invited the king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, to come and join Ahab. So 3 nations stood up to crush the Moabites. And the Bible says why the battle was raging, the king of Moab went and hired some mercenaries. He went and hired some mercenaries. About 700 men, great fighters and warriors, and brought them to scatter Israel, Edom, and Judah. And he could not. Why couldn't he? There was a prophet, a mighty prophet called Elisha. Elisha was in their midst. As these guys were drawing sword and arrows, Elisha was standing somewhere. When they shoot arrow, Elisha would do hand like this. The whole Arrow will go this way. They will shoot. Elisha will do hand like this. Arrows will fly over. You see, the worst thing is to have a terrible prophet in the midst of your enemy when you are fighting any battle. Elisha was doing that and doing that. The man tried. It didn't work. This man didn't know God. He tried. It didn't work. He called his son, the anointed prince, the guy that is going to reign in his state. He said, oh boy, come. He came. He said, prepare sacrifice. They set stone, gather sacrifice, gather wood, did everything. He called the mighty soldiers, tie my son. They tied the son. He said, place him on the altar. They placed him on the altar. He said, slaughter him. They said to who? He said to the God of Israel. They caught the guy that was supposed to be on the throne. They caught him and he said, oh God of Israel, I offer this man unto you. If I allow this battle to go, they will crush us and crush our country. This boy will not even have anybody to rule. It is better that this boy die and the nation is spared. He offered him to the God of Israel, and the Bible says God turned against his own people. See faith. Very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. Very, 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 very dangerous. When it seems like the battle is about to consume you, or the thing is not coming, go for dangerous seed faith. It may be the last and the best you have. You carry it and drop it and say, oh God, let my seed speak. Let my seed, I give voice to my seed. Oh, my seed, talk. Go for war for me. You stand by the side and be praising God. As you are praising God, your seed has gone for war. You will see the trouble will turn. The trouble will turn. The calamity will turn. That thing you are asking for will turn. You will be shocked. That's what happens. You see, this guy called Solomon, what he did was seed faith. He saw that his kingdom must be established. Immediately he became a king. There were so many battles. He looked up and looked down and said, how am I going to stabilize my kingdom? My father has fought so many battles, so many enemies. Me, I didn't learn how to fight. I don't know how to fight. I was a pampered child. My father was a man of war. Now that they knew that David is dead, all the nations will rise. Where do I go from here? He carried 1,000 heads of cattle. I went to Gibeon and lay it there. And the priest said, what is it? What are we doing with a 1,000 heads of cattle? Cow, 1,000. He said, keep killing it. Slaughter it for God. By the time they were slaughtering it, he said, oh God, this is my seed faith. This is my last. God, quieting all the nations for me. And God quieting all the nations for him. That was why the Bible says, all through the reign of Solomon, God gave him peace all round. David was a man of war, but Solomon was, they say, a man of peace. All the nations, instead of fighting Solomon,